this is attorney Elizabeth Potts-Weinstein, and today we're going to talk about how to pick a class for your trademark application. A class is a category of product or service where you're making sales in conjunction with your trademark. Now, your business may sell different types of products and may sell many different types of services. Sometimes they can be combined into one class, and sometimes it's multiple classes that would be appropriate in your situation. Also, there are certain products or services that might be put in different classes depending upon how you describe it and the goals overall of your business. One thing to keep in mind is that the filing fee with the United States Patent and Trademark Office for a trademark application is based upon the number of classes that you're trying to get the trademark in. So if you're just doing it for one, then it's either $250 or $350, which we're going to talk about in a bit, the difference between those two price points as of right now in 2021. But if you file in 2, 3, 4, a whole bunch of classes, obviously it's going to be a lot more money. This is the high-level description of all the different classes for trademarks. Most of the trademarks are for goods, which are products, physical products. Physical can mean electronic products. And then services. One thing to keep in mind is that there are some services that you put in different categories depending upon who are the people you're delivering it to and what the content is. So for example, if you're doing consulting work, it might be in a general category about consulting, but if you're doing consulting for a telecommunication business, it might be in the telecommunication category. So this is something to keep in mind as you're doing the search. I find that picking the right class is one of the most difficult and technical aspects for people to do themselves. So you're going to want to spend some time on this. If you go to this other page, it goes into what things are included and what things are not included in each class. So let's say you're going to be selling clothing in your business and your trademark will be on the tag for that clothing and you're going to use it in your marketing. Clothing generally goes in class 25, but there are certain kinds of clothing that do not go in class 25. So clothing for pets, for example, clothing for animals goes in class 18. Handkerchiefs of paper goes in class 16 and textiles go in class 24. So there are specific details of certain kinds of products or services that are exceptions from a particular general class because they're more specific examples in that case. It's somewhat arbitrary, so you have to look at the exact things that you're selling. So how do you create the class for your trademark application? What I recommend is you go to the Trademark ID Manual, which is a public database, and you search in there looking for examples. If you use one of the examples from this database, then the filing fee is going to be $250. If you make up your own trademark class, it will be $350. Okay, big price difference. There's other requirements for getting the $250, but that's the biggest one that applies to the most people. Also, if you do the $250 and you use something out of the manual, it most likely will get approved faster than if you write something yourself. Number one, you can mess up something and do some technical thing wrong, which it's less likely to do if you just pick something out of the list. And also, someone will have to figure out if you're claiming it correctly. If it's something off the list, they don't have to figure that out. It's already formatted the right way. So let's look at some examples. Let's say you want to do life coaching. That's what your business is going to be. So search under life coaching. There's a specific example right here. Life coaching goes in class 41, and it's life coaching services in the field of. So for many trademark classes, you have to get specific about the type of service that you're providing. So it could be life coaching services in the fields of personal development, for example. But there's a lot of other kinds of life coaching you might do. You might do life coaching about health. You might do coaching that's more about business issues. You might do coaching that's about relationships. You can list here multiple fields or just have one. It really depends upon what you're going to be doing. there are some fields that actually might kick you to a different class. So that's something to be aware of. Let's do another search. Let's say you're going to do podcasts. Podcast has many results, which I already knew. It depends upon the technical aspect of your podcast and also what your business is about overall. Do you have a business where you have multiple podcasts? I don't mean episodes, I mean actual podcasts, and it's this directory of 5 different podcasts. Do you have a business where you have a podcast that is, they stream the podcast? Or do you have a business where it downloads? A download is a product, streaming is a service. A lot of podcasts are both. So it's something to be aware of. You may or may not want to claim it in both classes. You may just want to do it in one of them. Now, this is a good example of where there are some specific classes written that people got approved for their particular situation, such as audio production services, creating, producing ambient soundscapes and sound stories for museums, galleries, attractions, podcasts, broadcasts, websites, and games. So this person is actually doing audio production services for podcasts. But it's very specific. Not that many other people are going to want that exact class. There's entertainment services, namely producing video podcasts in the field of, and you put in what the field is. This can be great if you're going to do other Class 41 services. So let's say you're going to do life coaching and you're also going to do these podcasts. You could claim it for both of them and only pay that one fee because they're both in the category 41. The fee doesn't apply to the little sub-description. It only applies to the number, that number class. So you can have class 41 and have 3 or 4 or 5 different things that you do, and you only pay one fee. But if you have a class 41 and a class 9, you pay 2 fees. So consulting can go under very many classes, and it really depends upon the kind of consulting that you're doing. Are you doing consulting in IT, bereavement, financial consulting, marketing consulting, which is in 35, which is the general business category. 42 is the computer category. Engineering also goes in the computer scientific category. So engineering consulting. A lot of different business consultings. Radiation safety consulting goes in the personal and legal category. Consulting in water treatment goes under treatment of materials. So you can see here that it really depends upon the exact type of consulting that you're doing. Now let's look under some physical product. Let's say you're selling toys. Most toys are in category 28. So infant toys, water toys, inflatable toys, arrows, all kinds of things. But there are some specific kinds of toy-related items that are in a different category. So if you have a toy chest, that goes under furniture, because the toy chest isn't in and of itself a toy. Another category that comes up a lot are cosmetics. And cosmetics go in different categories depending upon whether your cosmetics are medicated or not. So if you're selling eyeliner, it's probably not medicated. But you may be selling a type of lotion that could be medicated, and then it goes under the medicated category, not the regular cosmetics category. So cosmetics is category 3. Medicated cosmetics goes under the pharmaceutical category. Let's go back to coaching. So let's say you're not just doing life coaching, you're doing other kinds of coaching. Coaching services is usually going to be under class 41 for things that are general. Let's say you're going to be teaching classes and delivering some content via classes, which could be in-person classes or delivered online. Generally, it's going to be in class 41, which is the education and entertainment class. But you're going to describe it differently depending upon how you deliver those classes and what the content is going to be. Usually for education services, which could, I don't mean school education, I mean anything where you're providing content. So you're doing events, courses, seminars, online videos, all that kind of stuff. Some kinds of delivering of contents usually to a group. I usually put that under one of the general descriptions where it's educational services, namely conducting classes, seminars, conferences, workshops, whatever, in the fields of, and then you state what the fields are. You can also select the one that has and distribution of training materials in connection therewith, because a lot of times you're going to have some kinds of workbooks or something, the physical materials or downloadable materials that you're giving people in conjunction with that education. There's also a specific category if you're certifying people. So if you're doing a certification program for people to be life coaches, you can have educational services, namely providing training of life coaches for certification in the field of personal development, for example. Perhaps you sell a lot of different products. In that case, it might make sense to file this under a store category versus for all the different products. If people associate your brand with this store name as opposed to the individual product name. So for example, there in class 35, there are a number of different descriptions for different types of stores. It could be online stores, it could be an in-person store for different categories of products and services. So it could be a grocery store, a drug store, etc. Again, this is attorney Elizabeth Potts-Weinstein. If you have any questions about what is the right class for your trademark application, feel free to ask them below and I'll try to point you in the right direction. If you found this video helpful, hit the thumbs up and subscribe for other videos about filing your trademark application and other issues for small business owners and entrepreneurs. Thanks a lot for watching. Bye-bye.